Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to part 30 of my Claude Chabrol season. Yes, I've taken a bit of a break from my Claude Chabrol. I thought I'd finished, but I have picked up The Cry of the Owl from 1987, which is one of the films I couldn't find when I actually did the original series. So I'll add this to the playlist that you can find on my channel. So this will now be 30 videos of Claude Chabrol films. This stars Matilda May of Life Force fame, Christophe Malavoy, Jacques Penot, Jean-Pierre Calfon, Henri Attal, Henri Attal, and Dominique Zardet, who are kind of two collaborators of Chabrol who've been in a ton of his films. They usually play, you know, police officers and guys in the back. I think they were first in Le Cousin and Le Beau Serge, and they've appeared in a ton of his films, but always in kind of minor roles. They're in here as well. It was based on a novel by Patricia Highsmith, who also has had lots of her novels turned into films, especially The Talented Mr. Ripley has been shot so many times. So, as I said, this is a DVD I managed to find recently. The print's not great, I have to say, but you do have this little oddity of a poster, and it's actually a reproduction of a letter that Matilda May's character writes to Christophe Malavoy's character. So that's an interesting little addition to a DVD that you don't see every now, all the time. This also has audio commentary by film historian Rick Minello. So this is, again, another classic kind of Chabrol slow burn film. So Christophe Malavoy is an artist who draws birds, not those kind of birds, and he's had another fight with his wife in Paris, so he's moved to the Vichy countryside, where he has taken up a hobby of peeping on Matilda May, as you do, obviously. So he spends most of his nights hanging about in her garden and spooking her and her fiancé Jacques Penot. And one night Matilda May catches him in the garden and asks him in for a chat, as you do with people that you find peeping on you in your garden in the middle of the night. Who knows, maybe it's just a French thing. So as much as he is obsessed with peeping on her, again as Matilda May, she seems to be fascinated with him. She looks upon him as this kind of brooding intellectual. He has mental health issues and anger and temper issues, as we find out later in the film. She is terrified of death and kind of obsessed with death, but then he kind of gives her a more philosophical view of death, and then she begins to change her mind about death. She has a female friend who's always kind of popping up unannounced, and is a bit of a gossip. And then one evening where they're together. Jacques Pinot, the fiancé, turns up and obviously isn't very happy with this man chatting to his fiancée in the middle of the night. This relationship kind of escalates. They do the peacock thing and challenge each other and push each other, and then it ends up at one point in a massive fight between the two near some water, and it turns out that the fiancé disappears, and obviously Malavoy is under suspicion from the police, and especially the Lieutenant Jean-Pierre Calvon, who again you'll probably recognise Jean-Pierre Calvon's face, if not his name. He's certainly been in a lot of things. And then you have Christophe Malavoy's wife, who's a bit of a character. She's an artist as well, and she seems to be having affairs with everybody. So it becomes, is the fiancé actually dead or not? And as the relationship with Matilda May develops, the two of them are kind of drawn to each other, but also repelled by each other, and things start happening that Christophe Malavoy is trying to prove that the fiancée isn't dead, and is actually trying to frame him for other crimes and other events that start happening. Shots are fired at him, and the whole thing escalates. Again, I'm probably going to leave it at that as far as plot's concerned. But again, as far as Chabrol, he co-wrote the script with I can't actually remember the woman's name off the top of my head, but she's co-written quite a few Chabrol films with him. So it's another typical Chabrol slow burn with that kind of creeping camera. Again, in true Chabrol style, you don't get quick pans and, Sergio Leone zooms and things like that. He lets the story do the talking. Again, I think one of the reasons Chabrol's so underrated is because he doesn't necessarily have a visual style, but he does have a creeping camera, and he knows how to turn the screw essentially as things progress towards the climax, which perhaps doesn't necessarily go the way you think. Again, I haven't read the novel by Patricia Highsmith, so it'd be interesting to see whether the book and the film has the same ending. I'm guessing probably don't. So this might not be top tier Chabrol, but it's still very good once it starts getting going. Again, the DVD print's not great, but it is another Chabrol film that needs a Blu-ray release, like quite a lot of these stuff. As I said, we're getting little dribbles of Chabrol, the 2 Arrow box sets, obviously the Ceremony just got a Blu-ray on Criterion, so hopefully that continues, because I think he is getting more and more kind of respect and exposure as time passes. So hopefully we'll get more Chabrol on Blu-ray, because Cry the Owl is another wonderful example of what he does best. He lets the characters and the story and kind of gets out of the way. He's not one of those directors that makes you focus on the fact that, there's a director behind the camera. He just lets that creeping camera do its work, and it's all the better for it. It's one of those wonderful peeping Tom films. I'm not sure every woman would have the same reaction as Matilda May to somebody peeping at her in her garden in the middle of the country, but there you go. So that's Cry of the Owl. This is unannounced part 30 of my Chabrol season. Again, I'm not going to go too much into the plot and what happens, because that's not fair for people who haven't seen it, because I hadn't seen it until pretty much yesterday. Yeah, it's a wonderful little film, and I would highly recommend it, and hopefully it will get a better release than this DVD, even though, as I said, the DVD has that little curiosity of a copy of the letter that Matilda May's character writes to Robert, Christopher Malavoy's character, which is a fun little extra. So thanks so much for watching. Please let me know if you've seen The Cry of the Owl and what you think of it, and whether it's top tier Chabrol or not. And hope you'll join me again, maybe not for part 31 of Chabrol, but if I get new Chabrol, I'll just add it to the old playlists. Again, you can find the rather large playlist on Chabrol on my channel if you search through those playlists. So thanks very much for watching. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying farewell.